and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our new stamp set, Sent with Love, and its coordinating dies. And we're also going to be introducing the Sent with Love add-on and its coordinating dies. These sets are so great on their own, and they're really fun to mix and match them together, and we're going to be showing you all of that today in this video. So let's go ahead and check it out. This set has the most adorable skunks, and first off we have these two skunks that can face each other, and then we have two skunks that are hugging, which is so sweet, and then this front-facing skunk. We have this adorable little Valentine heart, and a little envelope with a heart seal. We have this heart little banner, which I absolutely adore, a rose for them to hold, and of course we have some stink lines. So these are little lines for the skunk's stink that are just so cute and fun to help fill a scene. We have that little flower and a bow tie that's really fun to kind of tuck in their hair on the skunks. And then we have these fun little hearts that are really fun for creating backgrounds or adding little hearts above the skunks. We have a bunch of sayings that fit inside that heart. So we have Happy Valentine's Day, Sent with Love, which is of course perfect for these skunks. We have I Heart You, and XOXO. Then we also have some fantastic sentiments. We have You Make Me Feel Sentimental, and this card is Sent with Love. Now we're going to add some color to these adorable little skunks. And there are multiple ways to color these guys in, and we're going to be showing you 4 different ways as we color these guys and also the Sent with Love add-on guys in. You can use different shades of black here. I'm using neutral. We're also going to use tonals and warm grays. Anything might work for these guys. And one of the best things that you can do is kind of start with a darker border and then move out into light so that you can still see the little details on the skunk's face. Now on this skunk, we are using kind of a traditional look for the skunk where we've got the darker area over his face, which is how skunks actually look. But if you look at the kind of Pepe Le Pew kind of skunk, he has the darkness around his face and then lightness over where his eyes and mouth are. So that's a really fun way to color them as well, and that's how we're coloring this guy here now. So you'll see I made kind of a little neckline for him, and I'm coloring with my darker markers. This time I'm using the T's, so we're using those grays there, and we're going to fill in this little skunk there, leaving his face just plain. And I'll add a little bit of shadow into his face. So we've got the more traditional looking skunk on the left, and then on the right we have kind of like this cartoon version of coloring in a skunk, and both of them look super cute. And honestly, I like mixing and matching them just kind of depending on whatever mood I'm in that day. There you can see that I added a little bit of gray to the white areas on the skunk just to give it kind of a little more look and almost like he's a little bit dirty. Now here for these skunks, I thought it would be fun to color them in a little bit lighter. A lot of the girls from the design team did this, and I thought it was so fun. They're almost like little pastel skunks. So I am doing a darker area in the skunk, but then from there I'm going really out into my light gray markers. I also really like this for the hugging skunk because then you can really see all of the little details of them hugging, which I think is just so sweet. Now I did something a little different for the skunk than the one I did above. I actually went ahead and colored his ears in with the gray markers as well. So you'll see I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to color that ear, and then I'm also going to color the ears on the top. And both ways look really great. So the guy on the top, I left the ears white, and on this one I added the gray to them. And honestly, either way is great. I can't wait to see the different combos that you guys are going to do with these cute little skunks. Now I added some little rosy nose, rosy ears, and rosy cheeks there, which is so cute. And now I'm going to use some warm gray markers for this little guy. And this little guy, I'm going to color him once again like that kind of cartoon skunk kind of look. And so the stripe there on the top of his nose is going to be my gray color, which I think looks really adorable for this little guy. But he looks really great the other way too. So you can definitely have a lot of fun with him. And then for the light areas, I'm just doing a little bit of light gray, just a little bit of shading and blending it out with the colorless blender, and it just really adds a lot to him and gives him a ton of dimension. Now I'm going to go into some really fun reds and pinks for some traditional Valentine colors. And so I'm going to color the outside of this little kind of lacy heart doily there with some reds. And then I'm going to go in and use some really light pinks, light reds there for the inside of the heart. And then later on I can stamp any of those sentiments depending on what I want for my card. For this little envelope, I colored in the heart, but then for the paper, I like using warm grays and kind of blending it out, and it makes it look like kind of worn paper that's gone through the mail. Now, these hearts can be colored in any which way, and honestly, I'm going to use these for Valentine cards and beyond. Here, I did a nice kind of ombre gradient of reds to pinks, but you could do rainbow colors, you could have alternating colors, you could use turquoises, anything, and it's a fun banner to add on your cards or to have the skunks hold. Now, I'm using all those same shades of reds and pinks to color in the rose and the flower and the bow tie and the heart so that everything coordinates really nicely. And now all of the images from Scent with Love are colored in and they look so adorable. And now we're going to check out the Scent with Love add-on. So we have this cute little guy and I just love him. He looks like he's yelling yay or something like that. And then he has these really fun accessories. So we have this cute little heart balloon, this bouquet of roses, a little heart-shaped chocolate box, and a cupcake. And my favorite here is the chocolate covered strawberry. We also have these cute little hearts that I love putting above the skunk and another little style of those little stink lines for the skunks. And we've got some fantastic sentiments too. We have I heart you and you are stinkin' sweet. And of course, happy Valentine's Day. And now we'll use Copic markers to add some color to these adorable images. And we're going to start off here with this cute little skunk. And I'm going to color him in the way that skunks actually look with the gray going over his face. Once again, just blending out from the edges from dark to light in my markers. You'll see just how cute he's looking. And then I'm going to be also adding color to his ears. So the other skunk that we colored this way, we left the ears white. And now in this case, I'm going to add the gray to his ears as well. And so you'll see when I do that, I kind of create like a little line at his ears and then just blend the gray towards the top. And both ways look really cute. And as you look through cards from the design team members, you'll see lots of different ways to kind of color these little guys in, and they look absolutely adorable. Now I'm going to add a little bit of light gray to the white areas there just to add a little bit of texture, and then we're going to start coloring in the images from this set. In this case, I'm going to go to some more rosy colored reds, which are really, really pretty, just to do something a little bit different. And one of the things I love about this add-on set is that it's great on its own, but what's really fun is you can combine this skunk with the other skunks from Scent with Love, and you can use all of these cool little accessories with any of the skunks as well. So I just love mixing and matching them together. I decided to switch back to the more classic reds for the rest of the images in this set because I'm going to be using those images on a card coming up, and I really wanted this traditional red candy box. So I'm going to have the red box with the white bow, gosh, it makes me really want a box of chocolates. It's so cute and so much fun. And then we're going to go ahead and color in the other images. I really love this little cupcake as well, and the heart-shaped balloon. All this stuff is really cute for Valentine's, but I love that you could use it for other events too, and I think it'd be really cute on a birthday card. So here I'm adding some color to that strawberry and the different hearts. And once I have my red markers out, I just go ahead and color in all the things that I have red just because they're already out there. I might as well kind of keep going for that. And then now we're going to go for the chocolate covered strawberry, and I decided to make that a chocolate cupcake, and we'll add a little green for the stem and then just some light grays over those stink lines. And here is a look at all of the different ways that we colored in these adorable skunks. So you can see on some of them we colored in the ears, on some we didn't, on some we had the gray on the outside, on some we had the gray over the face. So we just kind of played and mixed and matched with lighter tones, different shades of markers. It's so much fun to color these guys in, and it's really fun to practice with all of my different gray markers. Now here are the coordinating dies for the set, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to take these dies and line them up with the stamped images. We'll hold them in place with some low tack tape. Then we'll run it through the die cut machine and we'll have perfectly cut out images. And here is a look at all of the images from this set. They are so cute and so much fun. And here's a bunch of different ways that you can mix and match them. And one of my favorite things is having those skunks hold the heart banner. It's such a cute and simple little card. Here we're going to have the front facing guy hold the rose, and we'll add some little stink lines to the top. You can use that bow as a bow tie or a hair bow. And I really love the little flower in the skunk's hair as well. They can hold the card, which is really fun with that. This card is Scent with Love sentiment. They can also hold that big Valentine heart that you can put the different sentiments in, which is so super cute too. I love the hugging skunks, and it's really fun for Valentine's, but that would be a really great encouragement sending hugs card as well. Now here are the dies for the Scent with Love add-on, which once again you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. And we're going to take those dies and we're going to line them up with the stamped images, hold them in place with some low tack tape, and run it through the die cut machine and have perfectly cut out images. And then here is a look at the images from this set. I absolutely love all the accessories for this cute little skunk. And so he can hold that little balloon, which is fun for Valentine's Day or could be birthday too. Can hold the big bouquet of roses, the box of chocolates, the cupcake, the strawberry. It's so cute and fun. And once again, those accessories are a great match to these skunks in the Sent with Love stamp set as well. Now it's time to create a card with these adorable skunks, and we're going to be using the brand new mini slimline dies, and these are so awesome. We have a large set and a small set, and right here I have the largest of the small set of mini slimline dies, and so I'm going to put that here on my little workstation, and we're going to be doing some stenciling, and our slimline stencils are a perfect match for these mini slimline cards, and so I'm going to line up this fun little hill. This is a nice simple hillside, and then we're going to hold it in place with some magnets. You could also use some low tack tape to do this. And we're going to be creating kind of like a sandy ground. And so this is some antique linen distress oxide ink. And I'm going to be building up the color on the bottom of this fun little mini slimline stitched panel. So we're just going to build up that color. And I like some of the imperfectness of it because it kind of makes it look like sand, right? And then here is some vintage photo ink. It's a darker brown. And I'm going to add that to my mat and then spray some water on it to create some droplets. And this is going to help create the look of kind of like some sand or dirt kind of texture to this card. So we're just going to tap that paintbrush and let splatters go all over. Once again, we're leaving that stencil there because the stencil is going to protect the top of the card from all of our splatters. And then to really get that kind of sandy dirt look, it's really fun to add some white paint. So I'm using some Copic white paint, but white acrylic paint would be perfect here. I'm just going to add some to my mat and add a little bit of water and then tap that paintbrush again, splattering all of that ink around, and our cool stencil is protecting the rest of our scene. Now I'm going to lift up the stencil. This is one of my favorite parts, is like the big reveal. It's like almost like a little makeover. And so we're going to lift up that stencil and we're going to get to see what this awesome little dirt mound that we created is. Now, these stencils are amazing because the top of them has the mask. So now we get to protect our cool little ground and we get to work on the sky. So I love that it's all just one stencil. I just shifted it down and then I can just hold those magnets right in place. And then now we're going to create a pink sky. And I'm recreating a card by Megan today. And oh my goodness, this sky that she creates is so pretty. And what she uses is tattered rose, worn lipstick, and festive berries, and it is the perfect Valentine pink sky. So I just love it. So we're going to start with the lightest color pink. Any 3 shades of pink will do. And we're going to start right on the edge of that stencil there, kind of bringing up the light color up from the ground, and then just adding some light color all the way around the edges of this mini slimline panel. Then we took our medium pink, the worn lipstick, and added that, and then went back to the light to help blend it out. Then we're going to take the darkest, which is the festive berries, and then go back to our medium pink and blend that out once again. And I'm going to go back and forth between all of the colors to create a nice seamless blend. And of course I have my stencil there as my mask, so it's protecting the rest of the work that we worked on. To kind of give a similar texture to the sky, we're going to do some splatters as well. And so there I smeared some worn lipstick ink and I added some water to it, and then I'm just going to pick it up with my paintbrush. Those little splatters were a bit light, so I decided to take the darkest pink, which was the festive berries, and the darkest pink that you use will be perfect. And so I picked up that as well, and just to get some darker splatters. And then we're going to add the white too, just so that it really matches our cool scene from the bottom. And so I'm going to add some water to the white paint and then tap that all over, and it's giving this just beautiful texture to the card. And once again, we've protected our bottom ground, and as we lift up this stencil, you can see just how pretty that looks. I had so much fun creating this background. Next up, we're going to work on our sentiment and some of those skunk stink lines, and we're going to be using vellum for this. And I absolutely love using vellum for sentiments when you've worked really hard on a background like that. I don't really want to cover it up with white cardstock, so vellum is a perfect way to do that. So we have a piece of vellum here and then an anti-static powder tool, and we're going to take this powder tool and add it all over the vellum, and that's going to keep our embossing powder from sticking to anything but this clear sticky ink. So we're going to add this to both the sentiment and some of those stink lines. And then this is Megan's awesome trick. So I'm pressing down very lightly and then I'm doing nice little taps. We don't want to press down too hard with that embossing ink because then it gets kind of almost like smushed out and your sentiment's not going to be as clear when you heat emboss it. So I'm doing a lot of little presses and little taps until I see that the ink is completely on there. And then I can add my white heat embossing powder and we're just going to sprinkle that right over top. And then we can just tap the edge of the paper, letting any of that excess powder drop off. And I always like doing this on a folded piece of computer paper, and then I can just kind of dump that right back into my jar, which is perfect. So I'm just going to put my lid back on, and now I'm ready to heat it up. And this is another Megan trick. So she lets her heat gun heat up, like preheat, and then she heats from the back on the vellum. And then I just do a little bit on the front at the end, and it gives a perfect fit. I was always so impressed because Megan's sentiments always look so good heat embossed, and using those tips of the tapping and a light touch and heating from the back is perfect for heat embossing on vellum. So here we went ahead and die cut that with a sentiment banner, and then use the coordinating dies to die cut those little stink lines. And then here I'm adding some white gel pen details to these images, and for the strawberries we're adding the little white gel pen detail to the chocolate, so it looks like those little chocolate covered strawberries you can buy in the store. It's just so cute and fun. And we're going to add some more details to this little guy here, and I just love how these look. It makes it look kind of 3D and really cartoonish in a really fun way. I wanted this skunk to hold that envelope in his back paw, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim right in between his paw and the tail, and that way I'm going to be able to tuck the envelope right in between there, and it's such a cute look. So here I'm just going through and just kind of trimming off and cleaning up the edges, and now I can take that envelope and look at that. It looks like he's holding it in that back paw. I just think that looks so adorable and so much fun. Now, I always get nervous with vellum because I'm like, how am I going to glue this down to the paper? Because you can see adhesive behind it. So this is one of my little tricks, and it's a little finicky, but it works. So I took some glue tube and I just squirted some of it onto a piece of scrap cardstock, and then I'm just taking a little pokey tool. You could use anything like a little pin or any like the edge of tweezers or anything like that, and I'm picking up a little bit of that glue and adding it to the back of the heat embossed letters, just a very light amount of glue. And then I'm going to press down, and that is enough to adhere the vellum to the background, which is really, really great. And then now it's time to build our scene. So I'm going to take a bunch of images from both the Sent with Love stamp set and the add-on, and we're going to be adding this into the scene. And so I'm going to create kind of a little cluster of images here just with some tape runner flat against the card. And then we're going to give this cute little skunk a fun strawberry to hold. And then we're going to put some foam squares behind the skunks because I want those guys to be in the foreground, and then kind of all of their Valentine's presents are in the background. So we're just going to add that little guy to the scene, which is so cute. Then I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of the skunk and the back of the envelope just to make sure he's holding that envelope nice and secure. And so that adhesive there is just going to help that hold in place. And then we can add our foam squares to the back and then layer that onto the card too. And so these guys are kind of running towards each other with their cute little Valentine presents. And I love that he's holding the card while the sentiment is this card is sent with love. We're going to add some cute little hearts coming up from the background there. I just love this little trio of hearts. I think I'm going to use it on a lot of cards. And then I stamped the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment into that fun little lacy heart. And then I'm going to add some tape runner, and I'm going to layer the cupcake and the strawberry in the front and behind it just to make it once again look like a little cluster of presents there waiting. And we'll add those all on with tape runner to the card. And then the last thing we need to do is add those fun little stink lines. And we're going to do the same trick again. So I took the glue tube, squirted a little bit out on some scrap cardstock, and I'm just going to use my pokey tool to add little drops of glue along the back of that heat embossing. And that's going to help hide that adhesive and keep the vellum nice and clean. And so I did that with both of these cute little stink lines, and then we're going to add them to each of the skunks. Next up, we die cut another mini slimline stackable, and this time we use the large set and we use the largest one. And this one is 3 inches by 6 inches. And so what we're going to do is we're going to layer the panel that we decorated right on top, and that's going to give this nice white border with that beautiful stitching. I love the 2 layers of stitching on there. And then we just need to create a card base. So I'm taking a 6 by 6 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score at 3 inches. So it's nice and easy to create a card base for this style of cards. So we've got our nice little card base there. I'm just going to use my bone folder to give it a nice crease. We'll add some tape runner to that, and now we can layer the entire panel on top. And this mini slimline size is such a cute and unique style of card, and I just love how this card turned out. I love creating the background and using the stencil for that, and then layering all of the fun images from the 2 stamp sets together turned out so cute and so much fun. And next up, Shari is going to show us how to create 2 adorable cards with these sets. So take it away, Shari.
So for my card today, I'm using Scent with Love as well as the Scent with Love add-on that has these fun accessories. And I'm making a slimline portrait card. So I'm starting out using the scalloped slimline with hearts portrait die set. I'm using the panel that cuts out the hearts. I've cut this from some pink spiffy speckles paper so you can see how it cuts those hearts out with that really fun stitching detail around it. This is going to go onto a kraft card base, but I wanted to layer another color behind it. So I'm just trimming a piece of teal spiffy speckles paper to be slightly larger than the die cut rectangle with the heart. So you can see it's going to have that little border around the sides, and then it's also going to fill in the hearts with that teal color. So I'm just using some liquid glue and I'm going to layer this onto my card base. The slimline card is 3.5 by 8.5. So we're going to have that little bit of kraft border around that teal paper, and then I can layer my pink paper with the hearts right on top of the teal. Now for my sentiment, I'm using the sentiment from the add-on set that says "You are stinkin' sweet," and I'm just stamping this onto a piece of Guava Cardstock, just onto a scrap, and then I'm going to grab one of the sentiment banners and cut this out. Now I wanted a banner that's a little shorter than this die cut, so you can see I've got this sort of justified to the left of the die. I'm going to cut it out. And then I can reposition the die, line it up. You can fill it kind of line right up with those cut lines. And then I can cut the little fishtail on the right side. So this is just a way to kind of get a custom length of your banner using your dies. So now this will fit across that portrait slimline perfectly and not overhang the edges. So now I'm going to go ahead and put all these accessories with my little skunks. So the one at the top, he's going to be holding that heart-shaped balloon, which I just think is so cute. This one's going to be the guy in the middle, and he's got that bouquet of roses. And then the one on the bottom is going to be holding that heart-shaped box full of candy. And to color these images, I kept them all using the same pink Copic colors. And I just think that it gives it a nice consistency across this card, and it has a very consistent color scheme. So I'm putting these on with some foam squares. So I've put foam squares all over the back of this guy with the balloon. I'm going to center him up in his heart at the top. Then I'm going to do the same for the little guy at the bottom. And then for the one in the center. So they're all popped up with foam squares, so we have some dimension off the back of the card. And then I'm also doing the same with the sentiment, putting some foam squares on that, using my grid mat to make sure I have it nice and straight across the card. Now I did feel like it was a little bit bare, so I wanted to add some stamped images. I'm using some Ballet Slipper ink and using some of the images in here to just kind of fill in that pink, make some sort of custom pattern paper. So you can see this gives a nice tone on tone. I'm also using that cute little cupcake, which I just think is fun. And this really helps fill stuff in a little bit on that pink. There's also that chocolate covered strawberry. And then to stamp some that go off the edge of the pink, I'm just using a piece of cardstock as a mask so I don't get it onto that teal. You could also do this before you adhered everything down, but I didn't decide I wanted to do this until I saw everything already assembled together. There's also some hearts in the original Scent with Love set, the large set, so I'm just adding a couple of those hearts around as well. And there's two sizes, so that was the larger one, and now I've got that little small one, which is really great for kind of filling in smaller spaces. Now that everything looks the way I want it, I'm going to add my glitter and my sparkle. I'm just adding some to each of the images. So I've added it to the balloon and the bow on the bouquet, the bow on the box of candy, and then I'm adding it to just the little hearts that I stamped onto the background. And then here is that finished card. I love this pink and blue color scheme, and I love that little pop of sparkle. For my card today, I'm using the Scent with Love stamp set. I've colored and cut those images out. And then I'm also going to use the Foursquare portrait backdrop for my layout of my card. I've cut that out of mermaid cardstock. And then I'm going to use the new quilted hearts backdrop for the background behind. I've cut this from some fog cardstock. I have a little sanding block here, and I'm just running that across the back side of my die cut. And you can see that really helps those little hearts pop out if you're cutting this on a nice, well-loved cutting mat like I do. So I've got a little lint roller here, and once you do that, you can roll this across and it picks up all those little hearts. So it really lets those out. Just a little tip on an easy way to get those hearts out so you don't have to pop them all out with a craft pick. So I'm going to layer this behind my Foursquare backdrop, and I'm going to put it onto a card base made from Ballet Slipper cardstock. So we're going to see those little light pink hearts through this fog cardstock. So we get that fog on top and then those light pink hearts. So you just kind of get this really pastel background, and then I will layer this Foursquare backdrop over top of it. So I have my little framed openings, and I'm just using liquid glue for all this, just running it around all the sides along those little pieces of that frame, and then just some across the bottom. And these all fit the A2 size card perfectly. So for my sentiment, I'm using Finley's ABCs. I've cut out the word you from some Guava Cardstock. I'm going to layer this to the left underneath my hugging skunks, and then the rest of my sentiment from the set that says make me feel sentimental, I'm going to stamp to the right of the word you. So I don't have that glued down just yet. I'm using it as a placeholder. I'm going to put this into my Misty tool, and I'm going to do some stamping beside it. Now you could cut your stamp if you wanted to, but I'm going to show you how I inked this up without cutting it. So I'm starting with the word sentimental. I've got that where I want it, and I'm just going to mask off the part I don't want the ink with a Post-it note. So I've covered up the rest of the words except for the word sentimental, and I'll just add some ink to that. Pull my Post-it note off where it protected the rest of the stamp and stamp that down. So now I can clean that stamp off, and then I will peel it off the Misty door, making sure it's dry just by running my hand over it. And then I'm going to line up the make me feel part of the sentiment right above that. I'm going to use the same method of masking it off. I just ripped my Post-it note into two pieces, and I'm masking off the part I don't want the ink on. I'll ink up the make me feel words there in the middle, remove my Post-it notes, and stamp that down right above the word sentimental. So I've laid my die cut letters about where I want them, and I'll just add those with a little bit of liquid glue. And I like the look of mixing die cut words or larger scale fonts with the smaller scale of the sentiment. I just think that's a really fun look. So now that I have that in place, I can start to add all my little images. So I've got my little hugging guys at the bottom, and then I have the other two. They're going to be in the top two panels holding that little heart banner. So I'm just adding foam squares to all these pieces, and I've got my little banner there so that I space my skunks correctly so that they can hold this little banner. So I put a glue dot on his little hand. He's going to hold it there in front, and then I put a glue dot on the other end of the banner because that's going to go behind his paw. And then I also am adding the little rose just to give some more pink color at the top and just to fill it in a little bit more. So I'm adding that to his other hand that you see there. Also using some foam squares. And then on the bottom I have my two little hugging skunks. And I want them to cross over that panel into the other side. And then I'm going to add my little heart with the Happy Valentine's Day stamped inside. to that last square on the bottom right. And I'm using a thinner foam square. I'm just tucking that behind the very edge of the tail. And then I can go in and add some glitter to my images. I'm just adding some stickles to all those little hearts on the banner. I added it to the ruffle around that Valentine heart. And then I'm just adding some to my die cut letters. You could also cut these out of sparkle cardstock if you wanted to. And then here is my finished card. I love those cute skunks. I really like that quilted heart in the background. It's very pastel and subtle. And I just think this is so cute.
I absolutely adore your card, Shari. It's so cute and fun. I love the skunks holding that little heart banner. And then I love that they're a perfect match for our slimlines with those little heart openings. Oh my gosh, so cute and so much fun. And next up, we have some stunning cards by the design team. First up, we have this card by Callie. Look how cute and fun this card is. I absolutely love it with our new giant XOXO. Maureen's card absolutely blew me away. I love the colors that she used and how she used those fun branches to create a fun, cool place for our skunks to hang out on. I absolutely love Tammy's hot pink background using the new Lots of Hearts stencil. It looks so pretty, and the scripty suite is a perfect match for these adorable skunks. This card by Elise is so beautiful, and I love that she created her own custom pattern paper by tone-on-tone stamping a bunch of the accessories from the stamp sets. I can't wait to try this idea. I always love Mindy's ink blended backgrounds, and oh my goodness, this purple to pink to light pink is so beautiful and stunning, and I love how she created a fun background with the accessories and that cute little skunk in giant XOXO. This is the card by Megan that inspired me to make mine today. It's so beautiful and so fun. I just absolutely adore it and how she brought in some baked goods from other stamp sets too. Elena created a shaker card with one of our foursquare backdrop dies, and I love how she created little scenes in each of the little windows, and the shaker bits make this card so special. This card by Kara is so cute and fun, and I love how she created little mini scenes in her little foursquare backdrop as well. So adorable. This card by Grace is so pretty, and I love how she used one of our envelope dies on the front of the card, and that awesome stencil background is one of our new stencils that we'll be showing you coming up. Here, this card by Grace is also so incredible. It's a fun shaker and uses our new giant Be My Valentine die. I absolutely love Lynette's buffalo plaid background. How cool and adorable is this? And red, black, and white is such a fun Valentine color combo, and I can't wait to try it. This card by Letitia is adorable, and I love that she got creative with the color of her skunk. So she made this cute little purple skunk, and that is so much fun. Audrey added gold embossing to the edge of her card, and it's so beautiful. I can't wait to try it. And I love how she used the giant XOXO with that adorable skunk. And this card by Kara is just rainbow fun. I love all of the hearts and the way the skunk is popping out of that heart as well. It's just so sweet. So we cannot wait to see what you guys create with Scent with Love and the Scent with Love add-on, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!